Alright guys, so this is my Ball Lightning Sorcerer tankier build that I've made for the Abattoir that's coming up in a couple of weeks here. It is... the damage is about 30% less than my normal build, but it takes so many more hits, and to be honest, it still just shreds everything when you're solo. I don't know how it does in 4-man groups, but, you know, tell your teammates to pull their weight. It seems like it does pretty good when you're going solo. Couple of major changes, actually. I was about to say minor changes, and I started thinking about it, but no, they're pretty big changes. But let's just like get over into the build, talk about the different changes, talk about alternatives to some things. But yeah, let's get to it. All right, so 3 things before we start here. 1, I have a Shaco on. 2, I will tell you what you can put in place of the Shaco in the build guide that will be linked in the description of the video. And 3, so the build best in slot is technically mastery skill damage and a dagger, but I don't have one of those that I'm willing to put a different aspect on, so I had this in my stash and we went with it. And the occultist hates me because he's a son of a bitch, and we got stuck with critical strike damage, but it should be mastery damage. In the build planner, it will be mastery damage. Um, let's see here. Let's get into it though. Of course, you know, Shaco, not really much to talk about there. Mage Lord on the chest armor, and it is total armor, damage reduction from close, damage reduction distant, damage reduction burning. I would rather, I think, rather than damage reduction from burning, I would rather have flat damage reduction, but I already had this. I just had to roll for it. But there's damage reduction from burning in the build. I feel like just having a little bit of extra flat damage reduction would be better. I could be wrong. I don't think it really matters. And I have a low roll on total armor as well. We're sitting at 9,000 even with the low roll. With disobedience, we get up to about 14, 15,000. Go down to the gloves. Also in the build planner, instead of lightning critical strike damage, it will have lucky hit chance. I just don't have a pair of lucky hit chance gloves. And I'm running low on gold and don't want to farm gold using the method that I posted. So we just stuck with my current gloves because this has a lucky hit chance on it anyway, so they kind of just cancel each other out. It would be damage from close with a dagger, but whatever. Ball 12, of course, 40% multiplicative damage. Issues heirloom. For some people will say that you can run like flicker step, but I don't know. I prefer this because I like the extra critical strike chance and mana cost reduction, critical strike damage, movement speed. We went over this, but it should be all stats, intelligence, mastery skill damage, damage to close enemies on a dagger. And I have gravitational on here. Obviously, you can put any of the other offensive aspects on there and just kind of interchange them around. I actually recommend it so that you can do. So this build, you don't have to change anything on the Paragon board, the skill tree, nothing like that. You can still farm Hell Tides really, really quickly with like the Oculus and Raiment of the Infinite, and it's perfectly fine. So I actually do recommend putting it on something else. We're gonna go over here to the focus. We have conceded on here. This is the same one from my other build. Critical strike chance, mana cost reduction, resource generation, and cooldown reduction. Tarasha's ring, of course, and then we're gonna go to the other ring. I have accelerating on here. Yes, ball lightning is not a core skill, but one of our enchantments is chain lightning, big surprise, and that is a core skill. So when that critical strikes, you will get an increased attack speed, which will then give your ball lightning more damage, all that. And then lastly, disobedience on the amulet. This is the same one from the other build too. It's just got devouring blaze, mastery skills, total armor, and movement speed. Alright, vampiric power wise, I think everything's the same except for a cursed touch, just so we can make mobs and stuff vulnerable. And then we have prey on the weak, metamorphosis, ravenous, and infection. Go over to abilities now. And a firebolt just to get down to the core skills. You have 1 into potent warding. I think if you have so with Talrash's, mine has not got max resistance to all elements on it. And I sit about right here. So if you had, what would it be? Like another 0.4 and another 0.7%. So yeah, I mean, you really wouldn't need it probably. I know that it increases your maximum resistance as well. It's not really a huge deal, I don't think. It takes too much resources to do that. But anyway, let's get back to this. We got 1 into devastation to get over here to elemental dominance. 1 into chain lightning, 1 into enhanced chain lightning, and then down here to destructive, so you can make crackling energy. Come down here, 1 into flame shield, and then just 1 up to get to the flame shield movement speed. and then teleport with the damage reduction, and then 3 in the glass cannon. This is different from the other build. I don't use Frost Nova. We have Ice Armor because this whole build's about trying to be a little bit more tanky, and tanky it is. There was a corpse bow that shot me in the back earlier, and it only took like 20% of my life. I don't even think I had a barrier. But anyway, let's go down here. This is also different. I have Ice Blades just so we can apply cold damage for Talrash's Ring, and then pretty typical here. Align the elements to get over here to Mana Shield and Protection. And down here, go for Devouring Blaze, Ball Lightning, down to Wizard's Ball Lightning, and then Invigorating Conduit. This is our main like mana source. Come down through here, Fiery Surge for mana regeneration, and then Unstable Currents, down to Supreme Unstable Currents. One here to get to Conduction and Electrocution, and then change that over, Fear's Mastery. Go over to the Paragon now. I think I have to change something here as well. Nope, it's correct. Okay, so we come down here. In the starter board, we have Unleash. This can technically be anything. You could change this to Charged if you wanted to. You could change this to... you just change it to Elementalist. Anything that you want that just needs intelligence because it's filled out. But I choose Unleash because of the mana regeneration. And I mean, it gives you multiplicative damage too, but multiplicative damage plus the mana regeneration, I could get 10% multiplicative damage with Elementalist. I could technically, I guess, get 15, but it would be a little weird because the Ice Blades are what we use, so it wouldn't be constant. So we just go with Unleash, get that extra mana regen. Come up through here. This is also where it's different. We're not grabbing these as much as it hurts my soul. I've been trying to think of a way to include them, but for now they're out. And this just got reinforced in it like normal. This is Enchantment Master. I can never remember the name of the boards. Burning Instinct. And we have Destruction in here. Usually this isn't Ceaseless Conduit, but we moved it over here just because it's a nice clean path. Come down through here. We grab the Armor Nodes and the damage reduction from Elites. That's also not on the other board. Damage to Elites in the Burning over here. And we're going to come up. We do grab this, Frigid Fate. Even though the bonus is only 19%, I still feel like with this kind of setup, it's worth it because you're leaving right here, so it's what? It's like 10 nodes to get 20% multiplicative damage. That's definitely worth it. It's not even really that because you grab these anyway, right? So it's less than that. Go this way. This is Ceaseless Conduit, and we have Territorial on here. Damage to close is obviously good, but mostly you want that extra 15% damage reduction from close enemies. And we have it on this kind of path in here to kind of maximize what we can get on a straight line. We don't want to like waste a bunch of nodes for some additive damage like that, because to go out of the way you'd have to like go up here, and then you have to grab an extra node here and put them. No, it's easier just to go on this path right here and only grab one of the lightning damages because it's 5%. So not really like a huge deal, 5% additive damage. It's kind of just an extra node I had, didn't know where to put it, just slapped it here. Come down here. This is Searing Heat. We have Flame Feeder on this one. And we kind of have this pathing like this. There's supposed to be a node right here, actually. I don't know where it went, but I'll find it. It'll be correct in the build planner. But we're just trying to go through here just to get this, and it's like a nice, just like clean cut, right? Come down through here, and the last board is Static Surge, and we have Exploit on here to get that additional bonus of 10% multiplicative damage. You'll pretty much always keep that going. And then of course grab the Static Surge. We have like 3 different ways to make things vulnerable in here. We're trying to make sure that everything stays vulnerable at all times. Either they'll get vulnerable from Static Surge, right? Or they'll get vulnerable from the Accursed Touch, or they'll get vulnerable from Ice Blades. We just gotta make sure things stay vulnerable, right? Because the way this build's working, you're trying to be tanky, and then it's just trying to abuse the Sorcerer's way of making everything. Okay, I remember where that node went now. I think I moved it here. But anyway, trying to make it tanky but keep our multiplicative damage. I feel like going for the vulnerable stuff is going to be the best way to do that. There might be like a slightly better board. I'm going to experiment a little bit more, but this one was really, really good. Did really, really good damage for how much multiplicative I took out. I try to experiment maybe with like going up here and grabbing some of this stuff so it makes this node do more. Maybe even just like put cold damage on something. I wouldn't recommend that because that's actually, that's a valuable spot. But yeah, I mean, that's it for now. Like I said, I'm going to experiment some more, but this is a really good tanky build for the Abattoir Zur. I have no doubt that this could just like go through and destroy, especially when you're solo. I appreciate anybody who stuck around and watched the whole video and listened to me ramble a little bit. Um, right now I'm working on like a double swing indestructible barb. That might take a couple of days, but that'll probably be the next big video. Um, don't forget to let's do the typical like YouTube, like, comment, subscribe shit. Everybody have a good day.